Hey everyone, my name is Reuben. I'm one of the capable disabled. I was planning on recording the intro, but that turned out to be a bit challenging for me. So, I decided to do a voiceover instead. Anyways, I really hope you enjoy the video. I want to explore the reality of people affected by a neurological disorder and how their lives have changed due to it, what their day-to-day lives consist of, and what their view is on life. To achieve this, we will review the findings from a questionnaire that both myself and someone else with a neurological disorder have completed. The other person is a middle-aged female with multiple sclerosis. I chose her as I believe our contrasting life courses will provide a greater perspective of the broad spectrum of the experiences of neurological disorders. I hope this is informative for those who aren't aware of this life experience and provides a truthful insight into the difficulties of life with a neurological disorder. Before I continue, for the ignorant able-bodied viewers, I should probably first tell you what a neurological disorder is. Neurological disorders are medically defined as disorders that affect the brain as well as the nerves found throughout the human body and the spinal cord. Structural, biochemical or electrical abnormalities in the brain, spinal cord or other nerves can result in a range of symptoms. Examples of symptoms include paralysis, muscle weakness, poor coordination, loss of sensation, seizures, confusion, pain and altered levels of consciousness. The specific causes of neurological problems vary but can include genetic disorders, congenital abnormalities or disorders, infections, lifestyle or environmental health problems including malnutrition, brain injury, spinal cord injury or nerve injury. There are many recognized neurological disorders. Some are relatively common, but many are rare. My illness has changed my life in many different ways, not all that I can explain. I was around 10 when I started to notice a change. My illness mainly progressed during my teenage years, so I didn't have too much of a life before, but I remember when I was younger I used to have big dreams of what I wanted, a successful career, as in I was rich, a beautiful wife, 2 happy kids, and to travel the world with them. As my illness has progressed, and I have continued to lose more and more of my physical abilities, it is impossible to not experience a growing sense of hopelessness when I look to the future. Honestly, I avoid it, as I find it extremely difficult to think of the future without near crippling fear and dread. This question feels easy to answer because my life is pretty boring. I normally wake up with some sort of leg cramp or a sore shoulder due to a workout injury. Depending on the day, I may go into the office to work a few hours, then I normally have an exercise physio or physio appointment. After that, I'm normally trying to keep myself awake all evening, so I can get slightly better sleep at night. Before I was diagnosed with FA, I had a somewhat difficult childhood, but I still had a pretty positive outlook on the world, and I had hoped that things would get better when I got older. Oh, how wrong I was. When I was diagnosed, my view was very dark for the next few years, and I struggled with a lot of depression and suicidal ideation. As I've grown older, my views have expanded on the world and life. I still have my dark days, weeks, and months, but I also have good times which give me a glimmer of hope that things will work out. Probably that things get harder and you may feel helpless. But at the same time life gets easier in a weird, bizarre way. You just have to keep pushing yourself. Also, get the fuck to the gym.
MS has opened up a whole world I would never have experienced without it. Once my MS started creating challenges, I stopped working. I started looking for ways to fill my time as I felt I needed a purpose. I started training to be a Lifeline volunteer. I thought this would not need me to do a physical job, but help people and give me a purpose. It filled a space for a while, but I began looking for more. I had a few people with MS referred to me to help them when newly diagnosed. To navigate the services available, and just someone who is experiencing similar issues. It was then suggested to me that should start a support group, and things fell into place when I was offered a space to hold the meetings. The group has grown from 6 to 35 over a couple of years. Having a disability has changed my day-to-day in every aspect, some for good and some for bad. My day-to-day is usually planned so I can manage fatigue. This also can be impacted by the weather. In summer, I can only be in air-conditioned spaces if it is really hot or humid. I don't participate in any outdoor social activities during the day, partly due to fatigue, but also increases my falls risk. Negotiating uneven surfaces when I'm fatigued from the heat becomes difficult and stressful. For days a week, I do some form of exercise from Pilates, swimming, stretching, and physio. This keeps me busy and moving so I do not lay around at home too much. I stay social and busy with my running and MS support group. I am often seeing group members one-on-one to help sort out any issues they need help with. The main impact is to plan as much as I can so I don't get fatigued, stay organized, and don't let anything get on top of me. I meditate every day to reduce stress, and this leaves me in control and the ability to make good decisions about my everyday life and general well-being. MS makes me dependent on others, and this took a while to accept, but making peace with my limitations is my only option. My view of the world has changed and keeps evolving all the time. Because my disability is visible with me using crutches to walk, I have noticed people's reactions. I am constantly offered help from strangers. I always say thank you and let them know I am fine. On the odd occasion, I will take up the offer of help with getting groceries into my car when I am really struggling, but most of the time I am okay. I am always surprised when I get an offer of help, so this is a positive view of people generally. If I could tell myself something, it would not all be relating to my MS. I would have said go to university, it was free then, find out about all the other choices for a career, and grow up in an educational environment. I started an apprenticeship at 15. This is not the age to make career choices for the rest of your life. Getting a job was my priority, and I didn't think about other opportunities. Regarding my MS, I wish someone had said staying strong and fit will reduce the impact on my health in the long term. I just gave into it with the excuse that it was too hard. I didn't realize being hard is okay, just work harder to stay well. Also travel the world, as I feel the opportunity to do this now would be too challenging.
As can be seen in our answers, despite the many differences in our lives, due to our illnesses, our lives share a fair few similarities. A commonality between Donna and I is that most of our lives revolve around exercise, health and well-being. This results in our day-to-day activities being closely aligned. Another experience we share is the drastic effects our diagnosis had on our lives, and how we both were forced to adapt to our reshaped realities. This then in turn, had the ramification of altering our personal philosophies and perspectives on the world around us. I know that we are only two people, but I feel like our answers are reflective of issues that a lot of people with neurological disorders deal with. And inversely, the differences between our experiences reflect the subjectiveness of each individual's experiences. I believe that there is much that can be learned from understanding as many different life experiences from around this globe as possible, as it equips society with more empathy and a greater perspective on the human experience. It is less so today, but unfortunately, those living with neurological disorders are still underrepresented in the media, which was one of the driving forces behind the creation of this channel and content like this. I hope this has provided a small insight into this subset of the disabled demographic. If anyone watching has direct or indirect experience with a neurological disorder, we would love for you to share your stories below. Thanks for watching.